right, so we're on our way out of Puerto Escondido and happy to get sailing south now and enjoy some downwind sailing. Looks pretty nice out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks pretty flat. Hopefully there's wind though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can confirm it is calm out here. Very nice.
But going 4 knots. 5 at times. It's lovely.
Having spent close to 2 months around the Loreto area, we were both very excited to be heading south towards La Paz again. On the way north, back in December and early January, we quickly moved through this area with little time to spare since our guest aboard had flights to catch in Loreto. So with our water topped off and a good supply of fresh food stowed away, we savored the beginning of what we expected to be mostly downwind sailing for about 100 miles over the next week, south of La Paz to pick up our friends Keely and Ryan. Our time around Loreto was so thoroughly enjoyable. Incredible scenery, great fishing, lovely swimming, and wonderfully quiet anchorages make this area a dream to cruise in. In addition, we really enjoyed hanging out with our friends Pat and Pierre, who spend their winters on land near Puerto Escondido. Pat and Pierre were also generous to invite us on town trips for reprovisioning, and having us over for several dinners too. Thanks Pat and Pierre, and see you this coming winter.
We caught a fish! He's beautiful! And a really good fighter! Nice, baby!
Well, that was exciting, catching that tuna. But wow, did it ever fight. I can't believe how powerful that thing was. It fought stronger than any of the Dorados, which are double the length. The tuna are just like little torpedoes of muscle. It was incredible. It's been steady, good sailing pretty much the whole way here, but we're just 5 miles left to go to Agua Verde. Really looking forward to getting in there and checking it out for the first time. We're arriving here at Agua Verde. It's very rolly and choppy out here, short, steep seas. Hoping there's not too many boats up ahead here, and we're gonna be able to fit in nicely behind the little point that sticks out and get out of this swell.
Good morning.
Morning.
Fruit?
Morning from Agua Verde. A nice night here. It's definitely cozy anchoring, as you can see around us here. But we made it work. Squeezed in here. There was a nice little spot right at the front of the pack, so we were pretty calm in here and almost no rolling at all. So we're just enjoying our coffee. Not going to show you how to make it, but we're enjoying it here out on the bridge deck and just debating what to do today. We're going to go do some running or hiking or walking. RVs. Rolling.
Well, hi there. We're on a nice little walk out to the points here at Agua Verde, and it was a surprising trail. It just kept going. I didn't think that we'd make it this far, but it's really nice. There is a lot of conglomerate, sandstone-y type features around here that looks almost firm enough to climb, but is definitely not. And yeah.
Agua Verde is pretty sweet. All these little hiking trails, I get it. I get why people want to come here and hang out. Alright, after 2 nice nights at Agua Verde, we're hitting the road here. There's a pretty okay breeze out of the west blowing right now, so the forecast looks good too until late this afternoon of being good breeze. So we got a few options down the road that we're going to go check out, and hopefully we're going to make it 35 miles today. If not, there's the 20-mile stop if we need to near Los Gatos. We're just getting out into the wind, and it's very rolly and choppy out here. Obviously the wind's been blowing overnight out in the sea and sending in this stuff, so we're going to motor sail until we get around the point here. We're at San Cosmal, and then once we're around the point, should be good enough to sail. I think it's going to be a bit of a choppy day, so hopefully the wind does pick up and gives us enough strength to be able to sail comfortably, but we'll just see what we get. Now bring it back. Good.
A little lumpy, but not
Lumpy.
too shabby. Glad we're going downwind. Well, after we came around the corner, it definitely mellowed out, and now we are going dead downwind. Lovely, nice consistent breeze. I felt great. It was really nice being on the helm during all that sloppy stuff. Kept me focused. If this would have been in November, I would have been so afraid and probably puking my guts out, but no problem here today.
Some cooking well underway. We're making the English muffins. So yesterday, Kat got started with making the dough, and now it's risen overnight. And here's the dough. So we're gonna collapse it, and then put it onto the counter over here where I've floured it already. So there's the dough laid out. We're gonna let it rest for 10 minutes. So next, you just sort of roll the dough out by hand. I sort of pressed it out, and then I used this measuring cup to cut it. And then we'll leave them for another 45 minutes before we bake them in the cast iron pan.
We have some bread here that we made out of just flour and yeast and a little bit of butter and water and milk. And all we have to do is put it into our cast iron and bake it right there. Gets a little steam and it's absolutely delicious with a little bit of butter and jam.
Well, aside from the first probably hour or two of sailing, it's been pretty moderately paced today, hanging around 3.5 to 4.5 knots, which has been all right. There's been kind of more ocean-like swell than we've felt for a long time here in the Gulf of California, and so the period's about 6 to 7 seconds. It's not been so bad today. The sails are staying quite full still, despite being not a ton of wind and being a bit rolly. And so yeah, now we're about, I think, 8 miles left to go to a place called Mangle Solo, where we're going to anchor for the night, and literally looking forward to getting in there. It should be quite well protected from the swell and from the wind. After many hours of excellent steady sailing, the wind moderated as we entered Canal de San Jose. The lack of wind pressure combined with the swell still running down the channel caused the sails to flap wildly, so we were forced to moor the last few miles to Mangle Solo. Lying about halfway between Loreto and La Paz, this stretch of coast is very quiet. With few anchorages and being out of practical reach for folks on week-long charters out of La Paz, one generally encounters only local pangas and cruising boats along this rugged stretch of coastline. We really enjoy getting back into the passage mode mindset. Longer days that have an overarching end goal makes this type of sailing very satisfying for us. So we noticed this morning that this weird slime stuff, it seemed like it grew overnight or just got attached to the boat somehow. There's some along the hull, and it was covering all the ropes to do with the dinghy and the self-steering vane. I've never seen that before. It's really weird. Oh yeah, ooh, wow, it's real thick down here. Look at this.
Whoa. Whoa, it's all... It's yucky.
Yeah, we don't know what this stuff is. If anyone has an idea, I'd love to hear. But it's a beautiful morning out here. We're just hanging out. It looks like there's a little northerly breeze trying to kick up for us, so we're in no rush though, so we'll wait till it fills in and get sailing. Well, really nice northwesterly breeze has kicked up, and really nice conditions to sail off the anchor. Nice and steady, nothing crazy, no boats behind us. There is a lee shore, so we got to be conscious of that, but it should be pretty easy here with lots of room for us. So the steps we're going to do is Kat's going to start to get the anchor up while I get the mainsail up, and then I'll sort of slowly tack back and forth with the mainsail as to keep the tension off the road as we motor forward, or as we sail forward, and then get the anchor up and then sail away. Awesome. Not even steering. Hydrovane's doing all the work. And Cat made popcorn. Yay!
Popcorn and downwind sailing are the best.
We're just coming up to the mangrove areas. I need to look up how to pronounce it. And it's shallow enough, so I better stay focused here.
You can see lots of jellies down there. We had great sailing for most of the 14-mile journey down here, but about a half an hour ago we lost the wind and started getting some current in between the islands. So we're just about to anchor at the bottom end of Isla San Jose.
We're just entering the mangroves here. There's this cool little exit to the sort of like river thing. And yeah, it's just gorgeous. That was a fun little trip into the mangroves here. But there's a nice breeze blowing, and rather than potentially being woken up in the middle of the night by big waves, we're gonna head over to Isla San Francisco, which is just about 3 mile sail away. So, oh, we're getting pretty close to Isla San Francisco here, and all the fun that comes with it. It's a very popular anchorage, and with good reasons. It's beautiful white crescent beach and nice little hiking trails. There's some yahoos ripping around their speedboat, towing like an inner tube kind of situation. So fun for the kids, but maybe not at dinner time inside the anchorage. I don't know. Different scene. Better get the footage for the insurance adjuster when this boat runs into us. Okay, we're just absolutely ghosting in here, going 0.7 knots right now, and it's perfect. We just sailed over top of the neighboring boat's anchor chain here and saw their anchor, like, okay, better not anchor right here. But we're gonna be able to just tuck in here and be quite happy. So another way to back down the anchor is you can push your mainsail forward. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just holding it, and it's kind of pushing us backwards a bit. And there's our anchor down there. Chaos over there. There's one boat just making the whole anchorage just like loud, and they got like loud classical music on, and we're guessing that maybe they've put on a...
No, I think that it's an adjacent boat that's like fighting it.
Ah, that makes sense too. I think perhaps they're watching a Disney movie, like the kids are sitting down now and they put it on their big theater inside. Or they just like classical music, I don't know. Anyways, as we gently sailed past the boat, I'm like, hey, I recognize that boat kind of. Oh, I recognize the name too. Where do we see them? Moss Landing? Like, no, Alaska, like almost 2 years ago. With Alex Landry, we were just getting ready to go, and this boat comes up next to us, Clea, and they're like, hey, how's it going? Ah, good. Do you guys have any spare toothbrushes? We're like, what? They're like, oh, some of our guests forgot a toothbrush or it fell overboard or something like that. So they were like short a toothbrush. So we're like, yeah, sure, no problem. I actually have quite a few spares. So we chuck them a toothbrush, and then they threw us a bag with 4 beers in it and brownies, fresh baked brownies. So I'd never forget that. We were out of beer, and the brownies are a real special treat. So thanks, Clea, again. That was pretty cool and really nice to see you guys again.
Lovely day.
We're not bothering the dinghy because we just have short little distances to row here. But we are heading to shore now and gonna go hike up the nice ridge hike over there. There's this nice trail here at Isla San Francisco that brings you up over the top of this ridge. And it's a nice little scramble near the top, but all in all pretty easy. Let's look at the bottom here. I think we could have anchored right here, eh, Kat?
Yeah.
Next time. Across all these puffers. Aww. See the puffer fish dead on beaches all the time. You kind of wonder, like, is it because they don't get eaten by other fish and that they're just dying naturally, and that's why you see a lot more of their bodies? You also see triggerfish as well, and triggerfish have very tough skin, so it's kind of wonder if they're also just not getting eaten by predators as other fish might, and they're just dying more naturally more often, and you end up seeing them on the beach because of that. If anyone knows the answer to that, I would love to hear that. The rock in the Gulf of California is very loose, and Isla San Francisco is an extra loose. There's all kinds of wild, like, chasms and little, like, breaking off points you see, and the rock just seems like it's ready to fall off all over the place. So you gotta be really careful on the hike here. There's sections of trail that have actually collapsed and disappeared. You can see where the trail kind of has sloughed down the hill. But all in all, it's easy path to follow, just being mindful of the really, really loose rocks here. Right near the top of the ridge here, the trail gets a lot rougher, but still very easy. Just have to watch your step.
Loop-de-loop. Loop-de-loop.
Lovely walk. We found this pretty cool bin here and collected some garbage with it. I think it's gonna be a nice little addition to the lazarette for organizing things. We're just hanging out in the cabin, and we just heard this commotion outside, something bang the hull. And there was no doubt Dorado fishing, and then after these guys and this little guy still alive, we just saw stunned beside the boat. But there's crazy little things. This little pointer, it's like at the bottom of their teeth here. So this guy's obviously gonna die. So I'll use it as bait. Hopefully catch Dorado with it. But what a crazy little fish with that little thing there. And crazy that it ran into the boat and stunned itself, and the Dorado took off. But anyways, last night at about 4 a.m. the waves came up and sent us packing from the other anchor. So we're just on the other side here on Isla San Francisco, and it was a lot more pleasant once we got here.
Can you talk about the flies?
Oh yeah, there are some flies here. They're pretty annoying, but they don't seem to come in the cabin very much. At least they don't bug you in there.
Oh, it almost flew into your mouth.
Gross.
Yeah.
We're underway off Isla San Francisco. We're headed for Isla Partida, and there's a nice little, I think, westerly blowing. It's sort of wrapping around the island here. We should be able to point pretty much at our destination once we get out from the lee of the island. Beautiful island. Beautiful, rough, wild looking island.
Well, today has been a very interesting day of sailing. It started off quite choppy, but we were moving along quite well. Then we got becalmed. Winds we thought were going to start coming from the west as they had been forecasted for, but that never happened. It continued to come in from the southeast, and that's where we're at right now. We got to beam reach for a little bit, and now we're a little bit closer to close hauled and still about 6 miles out from our anchorage.
Alright, we got another one of those black skipjacks, I think they're called, type of tuna. And gosh, they fight like crazy. But it'll be nice to have some dinner. Caught on a salmon rod, which I promised I wouldn't use again, but I got tempted and it paid its dues of getting us a fish again. And we're now about 4 miles to go. The wind is southeast, it's supposed to be west, and it's picked up a bit here, so we are going nice and fast and heeling over pretty good, but we should be in our anchorage within hopefully an hour. We got to do one tack here real quick. But I can see a steady stream of boats coming around the corner here who look like they're doing the same thing as us and getting out of the westerly facing anchorages before this forecasted 20 knots from the west shows up. So we'll see what happens here, see how many boats are over here. All right, we kicked the engine on here because if we kept tacking, we would get it in the dark, and I've never been in here before. So best practice is probably not arrive in the dark to a poorly charted anchorage. Well, that was a weird day in terms of the weather. The wind has just died now, so perhaps that westerly is going to kick up. And anyways, we're anchored in 13 feet of water. It's been really fun finding these like flat sand areas where you can carefully but reliably cruise into them and knowing they're going to be pretty flat. And there's not much tides to consider, so we might lose 1 more foot of water, so we'll be in 12 feet. So with an extra 7 feet of water under the keel, no worries.
All right, it is a very beautiful morning here at El Porchico, which is a little anchorage in between La Espiritu Santos and Isla Partida. And we woke up here with some pretty strong southwesterlies blowing. I think we've had some gusts ripping through here that were in like the 25 knots kind of range, and we're looking forward to going sailing today. Our hope is to get all the way down to La Paz, which is about a 24-mile run. I think we're gonna have a really nice sail down the side of this island, but as soon as we start getting to more open water, I'm expecting that it's gonna get a little bit more choppy and bumpy. It looks like this is probably gonna be one of our fastest sails we've had in a long time though.
Okay, we're underway.
All right, we just sailed off anchor and it seemed very successful. Quite exciting. There's a catamaran that kind of like half sailed off anchor. I think they had their motor going, but they hoisted their mainsail though, so they had a little assistance. And yeah, now we're cruising out at the same time. Pretty fun.
6.5 knots. Raging downwind, wing on wing here. And shortly we'll get to go on a beam reach. It's gonna be a fun fast sail here. Hi.
Hey.
Well, it's been an adventure of different winds here, with the wind coming over top of the island and spilling out of valleys. So we're getting these different kind of fans of wind, and the wind angle changes a bunch. So we've been dead downwind, we've been on broad reach, beam reach, and now we're close hauled. Just coming up to another boat that we've been watching keenly because we're like, oh, what's the wind up there? It looks like we're going to be close haul, but heading pretty much in the direction we want to go here. And I suspect we'll kind of warp around the bottom of the island.
Trader Joe's.
Well, the wind mellowed way out. We were double reefed and had the bunch of the Genoa in for a time, but then fairly rapidly it got quite a bit lighter. And that's what our old forecast said, out of the west, getting lighter. So maybe it's still somewhat accurate, other than the directions being a little weird. It is becoming more westerly actually here. We're getting a better angle as we come out up to this pass here. So yeah, it's a good day of sailing. It's beautiful out. Just chilling out, having lunch. Hydro Bay's doing the work. And then we'll be in La Paz sooner than later, I think. Eh?
A lot later than sooner.
Hello. The wind's been doing this, and right now it's kind of doing this right now. It's come back up. Angle's really nice. If it keeps doing this, we're going to be into La Paz Bay and just get to do hopefully one tack to La Paz, though the wind's kind of light, so that's what we're doing. There goes the ferry boat over to Mazatlan. All right, I went for a little swim before we kicked the engine on, but now we're motoring into La Paz.
Very hot out.
Yeah, real hot.
Odd to be around all these big freighters again and tons and tons of boats. We have been up north further where you only see a couple of pangas here and there. That's about the extent of the traffic.
It's been such a wildly variable day today. where we started off with it howling out of that anchorage, and then kind of this doldrum area and angles changing constantly with the wind coming over the island. And then eventually we were close hauled for a while, and it came up almost to a gale. We had double reef in, a bunch of the Genoa in, and then it's mellowed right out to this. We had a good sailing right up until here, like not really dropping below 3 knots for most of the day. So it was pretty nice day all in all. But looking forward to getting to anchor. We wish we could stay out in one of these anchorages outside La Paz for one more night before heading into the city. But unfortunately, they all face the southwest, and that's where the wind is going to be coming from tonight. Well, nice breeze has come up now that we're heading into the channel. We'll have to roll in the Genoa in a moment because it's a really tight channel. But nice to blast in here like this.
Woohoo! We're having quite the robust sail into La Paz up the channel. Wind really picked up in the last couple of minutes. So we'll drop sails very soon, but it's pretty fun. We've been at 6 knots in here.
As we cruised into La Paz Harbor, we were filled with joy and satisfaction after such a wonderful week of sailing from Puerto Escondido. We anchored up and settled into our first night in a city in over 2.5 months. In the next video, our friends Keely and Ryan arrive for a visit before Kat heads off to Nepal, and I begin a solo 250 nautical mile journey north to San Carlos, where Seadream will spend the summer on the hard. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now! So a sailboat came cruising by just a moment ago and yelled, "Do you guys have a toothbrush?" And in fact I did. So they came alongside, some nice folks from Sailing Kalia. They're up here in Alaska right now, cruising around, and then heading to Mexico later in the summer. And they rewarded us handsomely with some essential things that we were really lacking on, including 4 beers. We didn't have any, so we can have a beer when we come into the docks in Juneau. We haven't had a beer for like a week or more now. And some nice homemade brownies. So thanks, Sailing Kalia. That was a pretty sweet trade. I'll trade a toothbrush for 4 beers and brownies any day of the week.